Hi, this is Tommy again with another NRVTA video, and today we're going to talk about sway bars.
The largest hands-on RV training academy in America.
We've got an F53 with the V10 up on our Coney lifts. First off, up front, we've got an 1.75" OEM replacement front bar. So with a sway bar, it's important to keep in mind every 1/8 of an inch you increase in diameter, you're gaining about 30% more strength. So going from a 1.5" inch factory front bar to a 1 3/4 inch larger sway bar, you're about 60% stronger. Now this is a heat treated bar, so you may ask, what does heat treating do to a sway bar? Well, effectively adding a heat treatment or tempering process to the steel allows the bar to maintain its strength through a wider range of twist. So where with a non-heat treated bar, it may start to lose its strength as it approaches its yield strength as the coach is leaning one way or the other. The heat treating process allows that strength to be carried through and continue to resist that sway even as the coach gets pushed over more just by all that weight transferring. Now let's take a look at what we did in the back. So first off, we've got our SS107. So this replaced the factory 1 3/8 inch rear bar. Going from a 1 3/8 to a 1 3/4 inch rear bar, that actually gives you about 90% more strength just by replacing this bar. Again, this is a heat treated bar. Now in this case, we also have the 1139-146 Roadmaster auxiliary rear bar. So that kind of begs the question, when would I want to do an OEM replacement versus an auxiliary anti-sway bar? Well, in this case, a couple of reasons for going with the auxiliary bar. One is just from a redundancy standpoint, it is nice that if anything were to ever come loose on this bar, now we have this other sway bar still acting to resist that sway and to give you some control. The other reasoning is that, if you want to do all that you can to resist the sway, you can couple an auxiliary sway bar upgrade along with a factory replacement. Other things to keep in mind, sometimes it may be easier than others to do an OEM replacement bar versus an auxiliary bar. In this case, the OEM replacement bar is relatively straightforward to install, other than having to remove the factory nuts, because we do go to larger hardware with this S107. On the 1139-146, it can be a little bit trickier because you've got these frame brackets, so generally you need to jack it up and let the suspension droop a little bit to get access to these bolts in order to mount those brackets. Some of the other auxiliary rear sway bars for the F53 chassis with the higher GVWs actually use the axle U-bolts to mount plates. In this case, with it being a 16 or 18K GVW coach, we actually are able to come off the shock mounts here, which is a much easier install. So it just kind of depends on which sway bar you're looking at, but in general, an OEM replacement bar will be an easier install compared to an auxiliary rear bar. So hopefully that's helpful information. If you found this helpful, definitely encourage you to like and subscribe. Thank you very much.